like to call to order the October 14th meeting of the Dearborn School Board. Could we have a roll call, please?
Hussein Berry.
Here.
Joseph Guido here. Mary Lane.
Here.
Roxanne McDonald.
Here.
Amy Shellis.
Here.
President Adams.
Here.
And Jim Schoolmaster is absent.
Trustee Schoolmaster is out of town. He will not be here tonight. Next item.
Pledge of Allegiance to the flag. President Adams will lead the Pledge of Allegiance.
Please join me. I pledge allegiance to the flag
Of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
They got the short chair today.
Next item.
Superintendent's update, agenda items.
For agenda, non-agenda, 5 quick items. First of all, we had our student count. 19,450 is the preliminary count, which is 255 above what we had budgeted, which is good since we added about 20 teachers. So that's good that the numbers are up and we should be in good shape. Secondly, I had mentioned in board briefs the first quarterly focus report. It's something I have to mention at a public board meeting as well. It's just the report that we gave you on our focus schools. Third, the Michigan Senate is still debating the Common Core, and hopefully we'll be acting on it this week, both in terms of financial commitment to the testing and also towards allowing the Common Core to move forward. We've discussed the issue in the past. We've spent years aligning to the Common Core and millions of dollars around the state, tens of millions of dollars around the state, aligning to that. So if they change their mind midstream, it's going to be a costly thing, but hopefully they'll get back on track.
Midstream, that's kind of like at the last
And
minute.
end of stream, good point. On November 5th, of course, we have our smart bond election where all schools will benefit with security measures, modifications, additions, renovations, technology and transportation. There are presentations the public can go to the website and I know the website, David, the website. Just go to the dearbornschools.org website and you'll find information on the bond and where they can go on presentations. Gives you all the information on where the money is being spent. And of course, the good news is we're going to maintain the millage rate if the voters say yes. It's 5.35 mils now. If the voters allow us to borrow the $76 million smart bond, it will maintain the millage rate at 5.35. So if they vote no, it would go down somewhere between $5 to $9 per taxpayer. So for $5 to $9 a month, we certainly hope the voters will allow us to borrow the $76 million to meet these needs of our district. These are needs. These are not wants or wish list or nice things to have. These are things that have been identified as needs in each of our buildings. And any additions that we're making is not to continue to add numbers of students, but it's really to meet our current population of 19,450. We have buildings where we have multiple classrooms and same classroom or classrooms on the stage or classrooms in little offices or the library. So these are important needs. If anybody has any questions, they can contact my office and we will answer their questions. Last but not least, certainly want to congratulate Jason Lynn of Edsel Ford, who is a semi-finalist for the National Merit. That's very exciting news for him. I don't remember the number of students, but there's very few students nationwide that get this honor. So it's certainly an honor to Jason Lynn and his family and the Edsel Ford community. That's all I have. I don't know if the board has any additional items.
I believe so. Any other?
Nope, that's it for me.
No. Next item.
Citizen participation. Citizens wishing to address the board on agenda and non-agenda items for action who are signed in by 7:10 p.m. by submitting a blue card to the secretary may speak at this time. I have no blue cards.
Next item.
Approval of minutes. Approval of minutes of the following Dearborn Board of Education meeting, the regular P12 meeting of September 23rd, 2013, Board Report 13-36. Recommended action, make any necessary corrections and move approval of these minutes.
So moved.
Support.
Trustee Lane?
I would just like to note that on page 12, we had a discussion about recycling. It is the policy of our district, and I really abhor wastefulness and slothfulness because someone doesn't want to bother with recycling, but the last sentence finishes saying, "The board felt that the schools need to live up to their green school designation." Those minutes are accurate, and I just want to remind people of that. So,
Thank you.
I believe I saw in the calendar that we have that that's going to
There'll
be
be a report. Yep.
report on that, so glad you mentioned it.
thank you.
Thank you. Any other changes or corrections? Hearing none, we'll attach a unanimous affirmative roll call. Next item.
Recognition and acknowledgements, commendations.
David, I don't think we have accommodations to it. All right.
Does the board have any they'd like to mention? I did notice, I believe the boys, that's a Dearborn High soccer team, won their division championship. Good for them. Good.
One other thing, I know I was at the football game on Friday, and it's the season, it's the season for a lot of homecoming courts, which is really nice, but the nicest thing is that the students select representatives of the student body, and generally speaking, they're outstanding young people. I know in the case of the homecoming court that I attended at Edsel, they were, so I'd just like to give congratulations to all of the people who are on the courts, remind them that they are representatives of their student body and of our district, and wish them best wishes.
Very good. Any others? Next item.
Acknowledgement of donations.
I do have 6 donations. A donation of 50 student backpacks filled with school supplies has been offered to River Oak School by Jack Demmer Ford to be distributed to students. We appreciate that. Donation of $1,000 has been offered to Whitmer Bowles Elementary School by the Dearborn Education Foundation in partnership with Better Made Potato Chips and Mint Maps to be used for Mint Maps and the social studies programs. Donation of $1,800 has been offered to the Michael Berry Career Center by the Dearborn Education Foundation to be used for a Dell laptop computer for special education program. A donation of $3,500 has been offered to Howard Elementary School by the Dearborn Education Foundation in partnership with the district and the Howard PTA to be used towards the purchase of a Promethean board. And a donation of $3,500 has been offered to Lindbergh Elementary School by the Dearborn Education in partnership with the district and the Lindbergh PTA, also to be used for a Promethean board. And a donation of $2,812.50 has been offered to William Ford Elementary to be used for student headphones by the Dearborn Education Foundation. So we certainly thank all those people who made those donations possible. No other.
Next item.
Special reports. Item A, response to bullying extravaganza kickoff event. Mr. Weston.
Yes, we had a great event, and I think we have Mr. Mustonen and Mr. Jacqui Rivait here to talk about it.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome, and thank you for having us here. Talk a little bit about the response to bullying event. We had a good attendance, and there's a lot of emotional stories this year, I would say, came out, which I thought was really kind of hit home with the whole premise of what we're trying to do and get to the root of what people are really feeling. And I think that was captured in this year's event. We have a brief video that we'd like to show you that kind of just takes the whole hour and a half and crunches it down into 4 minutes.
With my own 2 hands. Understood. Even nicer when it makes you feel good. You got me slipping while love is so. Come on, baby, let the good times go. Come on, baby, let the good times go.
Original and to do it so well. You're the star, it's your world, everything that you do. So remember to be yourself, 'cause you gotta be.
I am beautiful. My beauty radiates from the inside out. And if someone can't see that, shame on them.
And I think that the harder we work on doing the right things, stand up when we see something out of place, our entire community will be best served for it.
Take this opportunity and appreciate the difference in everybody, and know that everybody in this room has their own unique, special gifts.
So you treat people the way you want to be treated.
While the old saying, sticks and stones may break my bones, may be true, it is equally true that words may break my heart.
The best way that I found going through high school without being bullied is always following the golden rule.
Believe in your ability to do something positive. Believe in your capacity to make a difference. Because believe me, you can.
There is a blue one who can't accept the green one, for living with the fat one, trying to be a skinny one, in different strokes for different folks.
And here to help us put some more nails in the fence. Go ahead, Sheriff, Deputy, just pound that in there.
He's going to get his gun out in a minute.
He had a hard time.
Well, the platinum rule is to treat people like they should be treated, even if you don't want to be treated that way. Give them the benefit of the doubt and exercise some self-respect by respecting someone else.
Those harsh words now define who I think I am, and I think it's hard to get around.
Always be sure that you stop and think. Check your words before you speak a sound. Thank you.
Thank you.
Someday, that if I keep my faith and still be a nice person, I will succeed.
When you're sending messages over the internet and sending texts to your friends, be careful what you say. You may lose a lifelong friend, and real friendships are hard to find.
Oh, this one really got me.
Each candle represents a life that ended too soon. Today, we honor the lives of Braley, Bart, Angela, Carlos, and Cameron, young lives full of potential, cut short due to the cruel and harsh words that were said to them by their classmates.
Well, look at the holes in the fence. The fence will never be the same. When you say things in anger that hurt someone's feelings, or when you make fun of someone, that leaves a hole in their heart, just like these holes.
I appreciate the story of the fence and the nails because the simple message creates a very powerful image in our minds. It helps us to visualize the emotional scars left behind when someone is a victim of bullying behavior. I also like how this story ties in nicely with our theme for this evening. I was just kidding doesn't count. If it hurts, it's not funny.
'Cause baby, you're a firework. Come on, show 'em why you work. Make 'em go, as you shoot across the sky.
I just wanted to say that this summer our theme was if it's a joke, it's not funny if it hurts someone. And I think a lot of times we say, oh, I was just kidding, when we really know we're hurting someone's feelings and we make that excuse. So it's not okay. And each and every one of us need to remember that every day.
We also just wanted to say that, the Board of Education, when you first implemented this plan a few years back, you set out to make this a community-wide effort, not just something that's going on in the schools, but something that's happening throughout our community. We pointed this out at the event, but I just think it bears to be pointed out again. There are several organizations within our community that we've partnered with, and many of them now are beginning their own response to bullying programs within, their own organizations as a way to touching even more students and more kids and more people even outside of our district, and at times when they're not in school, because we all know that, you know, even with cyberbullying and what have you, you know, this kind of activity goes on way far beyond the 6 or 7 hours that they're here in school. So I think that's a testament to the program, and the board should be complimented for taking on this initiative and seeing some positive results, not only within our schools, but spreading out throughout the community, which was the original goal and the original intent. And we look forward to continuing that effort in the future. You know, this kickoff event is just that. It's a kickoff event that really is just the kind of the upfront version of all the work that goes on behind the scenes. And I want to thank Dr. Gail Shankman, our Associate Superintendent for Secondary Education, who actually heads up this response to bullying task force in our district, heads up the professional development of that goes on with our staff and all of the other aspects of the program. So we want to thank her. And I want to thank all of the people who participated in the program. You could see the wide community effort. The sheriff, there's representatives from Kim Worthy's office. The mayor, Chief Haddad was representing the mayor. George Deraney, our state representative, was there, and many, many others. So I want to thank all of them for being part of this event. We think that it's obviously well worthwhile. We look forward to doing it again. And also, just kind of so I can thank my own department, I want to thank Eric Chigfry for all that he does to make this event successful there. And then this program, he just put together that short 4 minutes of video right there for us today so that we could have that. The entire program does air on Channel 19, our district cable channel, throughout this entire month, along with a collection of other programs that we've done over the past few years in regards to response to bullying and building leadership and what have you. So we would invite everyone to make sure they tune into those programs and watch the entire fun for the entire hour and a half, because it's definitely well worth it.
It was a very good event. I really enjoyed the entertainment. The kids were great. They looked like they were having great fun up there. And I'm glad that it has spread throughout the community, because I think a couple of our speakers did allude to the fact that it isn't just children. Sometimes it's adults that do the bullying. And so I think organizations in the community need to be educated also. So.
And I do want to thank everybody involved. And of course, our challenge is that it's not just about students, but
right.
I've had conversations with board members, and we know that, you know, some on the administrative team, you know, sometimes in working with parents and students can come across as bullies, and we need to address that as well. So this isn't just student on student. Sometimes it's adults on students, adults on other adults, and we need to work on it as a holistic approach. Exactly. And our students have shown us the way, and we as adults need to follow that.
I agree. Sometimes in the neighborhoods, you know, you hear adults speaking badly to children and bullying them.
And to each other.
And to each other, absolutely. Absolutely. So it is a community action. Yep. Thank you all for all that you did, both of you. I know a lot, but it was a very enjoyable event.
Thank you.
Thank you. I want to thank Mr. Schoolmaster on behalf of the Board of Education. Yes. And I think he said something that we should all remember, that sticks and stones, our parents told us, don't break our bones, but words can hurt, and they can leave a hole in our heart like the nails did in the fence. So thank you.
And I appreciate him speaking on behalf of the board. He was excellent.
He was. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Next item.
District literacy, Mr. Whiston.
Yes, this board meetings report is Dr. Chochol from elementary.
Good evening. I'm here to talk for just a few minutes about the Dearborn Teacher Reading Academy, which is a professional development effort which began this summer. It's a K-12 literacy effort, which is a combined effort on the part of elementary, middle school, and high school teachers to implement the Common Core effectively and rigorously. We know that with the increasing literacy demands that our students face, that as educators, we want to improve what it is we're doing in terms of helping our students read and write across the curriculum. So the first 3 days of the Academy began this summer, and teachers are learning and refreshing the research-based strategies on phonemic awareness, phonics, fluency, vocabulary, and comprehension. The entire Academy is 6 days, and the first cohort will complete their 6 days this month, and we do plan future cohorts. So the second one will begin in November. Great, thank you.
Any questions from the board? Comments? Thank you. Next item.
Action items. Item A, special consideration of an action item. Are there any agenda items on this agenda which board members or the superintendent wish to discuss and vote on separately? If there are, we will exclude these from the motion below.
Number 10 needs a roll call vote, but we also have a number 13 supplement and some additions to the human resources list. Any others anyone might pull? Trustee Lane?
Can we have a brief, I don't know who was on the reinstatement, but whoever was on the reinstatement perhaps could give us a brief recount of that.
Okay, that'd be great. I don't know either.
I was.
I was also, yeah.
Are we pulling 11 then?
Be careful.
Right.
Just proceed with caution. Yeah. We believe that the student is ready to rejoin the high school. There's some stipulations put on his reattending. The one thing that I did notice is that it says that he will begin tomorrow, but there's no school tomorrow, so he won't actually begin
But he'll
until
be listed
Thursday.
back in attendance,
Right.
be eligible, yeah.
So,
Yeah.
The conditions that the board previously put on the student were met by the student and the family?
for the most part, they were. There were some extra things that they're still working on, but it's a progress. But we think that it is in the best interest of this child to get back to school, and we think that he will do fine, and he doesn't pose any risk to himself or other students.
You covered it all.
Anything, nothing you want to add?
No, no,
Okay. So everything but 10.
All right, move that action items numbered 1 through 13 be approved as recommended in this agenda, with the exception of 10.
So moved.
Support.
Any questions on the items? Hearing none, then we'll attach a unanimous affirmative roll call. Do you want to give a summary, or do you want to go to number 10 now?
Do the summary.
Okay.
Item 1 was the approval of warrants, which are items for payment by the district and have been reviewed by the administration. Items 2 through 5 was the approval of non-instructional and instructional personnel items for P12, including the supplement. Item 6 was the approval of the financial statement. 7, approval of line of credit. 8, approval of appointment of reading literacy data coach. 9, approval of appointment of coordinator 2, middle school math coordinator. Item 11 was the approval of the student reinstatement to Bryant Middle School. Item 12, the approval of donations, and item 13 was the approval of the mini grant.
Number 10.
Number 10, calling for a P12 executive session closed. Move that an executive session closed be held on Monday, October 28th, 2013 at 6 p.m. in the Superintendent's Conference Room at the Administrative Service Center to discuss negotiations per Section 8C of the Michigan's Open Meetings Act.
So moved.
Support.
May I have a roll call, please?
Shane Barry?
Yes.
Joseph Guido, yes. Mary Lane?
Yes.
Roxanne McDonald?
Yes.
Amy Shellis?
Yes.
Jim Schoolmaster absent, and President Adams.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Before we go on, I see Mr. Oshnock in the audience, and then supplement number 13 was the mini grant, and he had emailed me that he was going to apply for that, and I thank him for his efforts. I think this will be a great opportunity for all three of the high schools, so thank you for your diligence in getting that. Next item.
Item 7, discussion item, policy updates, changes, Board Report 13-44. Mr. Weston.
Yes, I'd invite Dave Mustonen and Sam Barnett to come up and talk about 2 policy changes. One just aligns the board travel to district employee travel, and the other aligns us with federal and state requirements.
Good evening once again. Yeah, the first policy that was reviewed by the policy committee was bylaw 0144.1, has to deal with all of the different aspects of board compensation. But specifically, the board asked to review the part about travel and to bring that in line with what is followed by the district employees and district staff. So basically, that language, the language that's contained in the policies that the staff follows, was incorporated into this bylaw so that the board would follow the same types of procedures when traveling and follow those same policies.
Requirements.
Yeah.
Amy, yes, sir.
Trustee Schillis?
There was one question that came up in the policy discussion, because the policy that we're dealing with isn't just for travel, but also all reimbursements that a board member may have. One of the things that's in there that I didn't even know was in there, and I've been on the board 13 years, is the phone reimbursement of up to $300 a year. And there was some discussion in there of whether or not we needed that to even be in there. So I would just like to bring it to the table, because if we want to update that, now would be a good time to do that, since we're updating that section of the policy. And then the board compensation, I think we're going to update as well, because it's outdated. It was back from quite a few years ago, just so that it's more in line, since we're updating that section of the policy. So I don't know how anyone else feels
Well, would
about it.
that be updated to the compensation? Isn't it in the guidelines that it also depends on the foundation grants from the state?
Yes, but it says,
It actually has
it
dollar
actually has a
amount.
dollar amount and a date.
Oh,
And so,
okay.
you
Make it
know,
more
we could just
generic.
bring it more, you know, more in line with what it is,
Okay.
versus having a dollar
Right,
amount in there.
right.
I don't think that anyone that I know of on the board has ever had
didn't know
cell
that
phone
was in there.
I didn't even know it was in there, not that I would take advantage of it anyways, but that
Right.
was kind of the point of, if no one's using it, then why have it in there, sort of thing.
I
Because it
also
gives the
noticed-
appearance that we are, even though no one is.
Yeah. I also noticed there was a comment in it, something about district credit card. Again,
Yeah,
I
no
don't
board
think-
members have
No board
that.
members don't have access to that.
I know that when I've traveled, it is a possibility that if we need that, so I don't know if we need to keep that, and I've never used it, so,
Usually, it's, the expenses are.
yeah, that they're taken care
by
of
the
prior to
district,
travel,
right.
so I don't know if it would be necessary. Like I said, I don't use it, so
No.
I can only speak for myself, but I just don't want, I guess, just like with our wages, where people are shocked to find out that we don't make $80,000 a year on the board, because that's what they think that we make when we very minimally get reimbursed for our services. I don't want it to have the appearance that there are a lot of benefits that aren't really there, or that no one is taking advantage of, so.
Now, was it a recommendation to remove that then? Is that what I'm hearing?
Well, we had just talked about it. I don't think that we had necessarily given it a recommendation, yes or no, but I thought I would bring it out to the table when we were having the full discussion, since everyone was here. And I don't think that anyone has ever taken
No.
anything
To
for
my
cell
knowledge.
phone. Yeah.
Not to my knowledge.
So,
So we can take that out, align the credit card, and align the pay. Unless there's objection.
No, I have no objection.
That's fine with me, no?
Okay,
I use my
If you're not gonna take it out,
compensation.
just add another zero to it, that's all.
got it.
yeah. Well, you'd be surprised at how many people think we do get, full paid
Absolutely.
benefits, and,
Yeah.
like, this is our full-time job, not,
It is your full-time job, you just don't get paid.
yeah,
like
we don't get full-time wages for it, that's for sure.
Yeah, can we make it clear, because I've seen it on some comment boards, that people are under the impression that we get health care or other benefits. We do not get those benefits.
You want me to put a line in there that healthcare is not provided unless It can be provided
You can
at your
buy it
expense.
at our
yeah.
expense. We
Which
have
is
to
more
say,
than we
yeah,
even
more
make
than-
in the, more than we're even compensated, so. Yeah, I don't know, I don't know.
It is
if there's a way
available
to-
at our cost
to read
or
it.
something like
district
that, something at
cost
the,
level, yeah.
it
That's
costs
what it says.
personal cost.
That's what it currently
Is that what it
Yeah.
says? Then that's fine, yeah.
All right, we'll make those changes.
Very good, thank you.
Yeah, but even the way that it's written at the cost of the district, it sounds like at the cost that the teachers pay or that the staff pays.
We can make it clear that,
You know.
as of this
I
year,
would
that
say
cost would be
cost to the-
12,000, whatever.
Yeah, but
The
the
cost
cost
of
would
the-
be
yeah,
incurred
the
by
entire
the
cost.
board member.
Yes.
Yeah.
I just thought of something, left me, sorry.
The second policy and procedure is that of the federal awards. So our title program, since we're a recipient of over $12 million of federal money on a yearly basis, we are required to have policies and procedures, obviously, for these funds. And so what you have in front of you, actually what was sent to you last week in board briefs was a short 46-page document that Business Services, in addition to compensatory education, developed in response to Michigan Department of Education's Office of Field Services visit to our district last year. And so this 46-page document, again, is indeed our policies and procedures that we adhere to for these funds from the federal government. So.
As you said, it's a requirement of law. It's not optional, or you don't have to choose between language A or B. It's a requirement that we implement this.
Thank you.
I just remembered what I was, Trustee Lane, you mentioned the compensation. What is our compensation? I don't even know what it currently
I think
is.
it's like $9,200.
$8,500 per year.
Yeah, it's actually a little over $9,000 per year, and I can get those exact figures for you.
That's why we need
Just
to know.
as a ballpark.
Absolutely,
Because you're
yeah.
right,
Mhm.
I know City Council makes much, much more than we do, and people assume we.
But they
we
work
make-
a lot harder.
But
And our total budget is considerably more than
The audience
Oh,
can't
don't
censure
don't
sarcasm.
even be sarcastic.
I
So
will
it's
get you-
approximately
It is
9,000.
approximate. It's a little over $9,000 per trustee.
you.
and the
Before
president
taxes.
makes a little more.
I
Before
believe the
taxes.
president
Before
makes.
taxes.
This is before, this is before taxes, mind you, and the president, obviously, Pam.
As an extra
$1,000.
responsibilities.
That's correct, yes. But I will get you those exact figures.
Thank you. Just for the public's information.
Yeah, you did take a pay cut
That's
at
right.
8 point.
Okay. So we'll vote on these obligatory policies at the next meeting, correct?
Correct.
Thank you. Next item.
Acknowledgement of correspondence.
We received some envelopes at our desks tonight, and there was
Yes.
one that a couple board members had not gotten regarding a Veterans Day celebration at Lloyd. So we have given them. I think emailing, everybody gets all the emails. It's copied to all board members, so. I don't have anything separate from anyone. Anybody else?
I don't.
I did receive an email I mentioned to all of you from Ernie Oz. Today, he had emailed me a while back about the late start for high school students, and he was looking for a response. And so it was late in the day that I saw it on my email and didn't have a chance to answer him, but I will respond. But I forward that to everybody, I believe. Okay.
Yes, you did.
So if anybody else wants to comment to Mr. Oz, please feel free to do so. Next item.
Board of Education Affairs, lost my place. Board member committee and organization reports.
We had some committee meetings tonight. Trustee Shellis?
Only one
Pointed
item,
right
and I still
away.
can't remember what we talked about.
There were 2 items. Yeah, we discussed 2 things, but they were both around the same thing.
Oh,
So
you
you're
mean
okay.
the construction manager and the
Yeah.
architect, okay.
We followed up on a conversation that we had earlier about sending out bids for construction manager as well as architectural. We had talked at the last building and site committee meeting because we wanted to have these in place so that we wouldn't delay any more time, because obviously these firms are going to need some time to put the paperwork together. We've set a date of, I believe, the 20th or somewhere around the 18th or the 20th of November. So we will know for sure whether or not the bond passes prior to them actually having to submit. We did do this as an invitation response, meaning that we sent it out to particular firms and invited them to bid. The reason that we did this was to weed out possible firms that don't have the capability of doing the scope of work that we need. There were about 6 firms for the construction manager as well as the architectural firms. All of them, I believe, we've used in the past, so we have experience either at the K-12 or the college, except for one. Okay.
I think Rewald was the only, Frank
Yes,
Rewald
you're
was the
right.
only one.
There was one that we don't have any prior experience with. So, I mean, we know that they're all capable of doing the work. What we didn't want to happen was to have an outlier that was a low bidder that possibly could have been bidding on the job without actually understanding the full scope of the workload. And we can send out a list of those firms to all of the board members that we've invited. Trustee Guido did ask for another architectural firm. Was it architectural?
Construction.
No, construction management firm to be added to the list, so that'll go out tomorrow. So I think that we have a good selection. I'm hoping that they all respond. We're going to be doing interviews that week, I think November 20th.
Yes.
20th, and then the architectural firms on the
following
28th,
week.
or the 26th. Yeah, I think the 28th is Thanksgiving. So not only will they be responding on paper, but they'll also be interviewed and potentially with the architectural firms, it's not an all or nothing type of bid. We did discuss the possibility of using 1 or 2, possibly 3, but probably more like 2 firms to do the architectural work. Because it's not an all one package because there's so many different projects involved. And we want to make sure that we get the best deal all around and that we have the most competent player at the table. So it was more just a follow-up of what we've been talking about in the past and just trying to stay up to date on how things are going and make sure that we're ready to run as soon as the election's over, so we don't waste any time.
I think just 1 second, you mentioned about the selection of those that you sent the bids to. I think the schools are bound by some additional state requirements, and not all construction firms necessarily would be aware of those and have experience in those. So,
and
you want
had
firms that are familiar with
right.
with
I
the
also,
laws.
I neglected to mention that we did have our attorneys go over the documents. We put together the bids and then had the RFP, and we had our attorneys look at it. They did add in a few minor details to make sure that we as a district are protected.
Right.
Obviously, there's some things like cost overruns that are unforeseeable. For example, the price of steel going up. There's no real way to protect those types of instances, but costs going up because projects were delayed because of somebody else's fault, we can protect against those things. So the lawyers did look at the documents, they added a few things to protect us, and they gave their okay on it, so we're good to go.
Trustee Lane?
I'm curious, in the past, the board has expressed its appreciation, although it's not in policy or guideline, but we like to hire people, firms, as close to home as possible. I love to see former Dearborn students hired as Dearborn teachers. So I'm curious whether the firms are national or whether they're mostly Michigan firms.
They're all local.
The
They're all
construction,
very-
the construction management firms are all Michigan-based companies.
Great.
And that is something that we can ask them also during the interview process.
Good.
We can ask them about that. But we did want to have somebody that was local, that understands what's going
The
on.
architects are as well.
And yeah, you're right. All of the architectural firms are as well.
Good. Thank you.
I just wanted to add one thing, and Jeff, you can back me up on this. I believe we have contingencies built into each budget already, right in the numbers. So getting back to what Amy said, some of any unforeseen, if
Overruns
it's
things.
something major, we might not have enough built in. But I think when they develop each budget for each project, there's a contingency fund built in that budget to take care of some of these things.
And
So-
I mean, historically, we haven't had, I mean, we've done some significant construction work in the district, and we've always been at or below budget. So I think that our staff is very good at understanding what we need, and so to help stay, they're very conservative when
think we've
putting
always-
these bids
We've always
together.
been able to go back in and kind of add some things back into the budget near the end where we had some funds left over.
Yeah, I know at least since I've been on the board in 13 years, we haven't had a project that was over budget. Unless I
And I
forgot
think,
about it.
that's one of the benefits also of putting out an RFP that's
Yes.
frank and honest and what the expectations are.
Yeah.
You kind of avoid some of that way.
Yeah, sometimes you may have an individual project
Right.
go over and you have another project go
Right.
under, but
But in-
overall, the total
in
of the
total.
projects have always
Exactly.
come in at or below.
And the construction manager, is an important job because they're going to be, our eyes and ears and overseeing the entire project. And I think the fact that we have experience with all of these firms, and they've been good to us, it's probably going to be a difficult choice, I'm sure. And so the interviews, I think, are going to be important.
I think what's helpful too is the construction manager is involved from the beginning during the design process, and he
Yeah.
helps the architect along by testing the budget as they go. And that way when the plans are completed, that there's been input from the construction manager, and there's no reason why we should be over budget if we adhere to that process. So it's a good process. It gets the construction expertise involved early on in the design portion of the project, rather than waiting at the end and then finding out, you're over budget. So it's a safeguard against
And I
that.
think it's important is why we're getting, some people would say we're being, jumping the gun, but I think that we're just being overcautious and would rather get started in the process so that we don't have to wait to send it out for bid. If, something happens and the bond isn't approved, it would be considerably enough time before the deadline, that we could withdraw the RFPs if necessary, but hopefully we don't need to do that. But we want to be ready to get moving on some of these projects as soon as possible, which I think the citizens of Dearborn would want, once they give us the go-ahead.
It's one of the questions we get at every
how
presentation,
long
when
is
you're
it
going to
gonna
start,
take?
when will it
Yeah.
end? So
Yeah.
they're anxious.
You need some lead time too.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
Even
we're
to have it
under
going by
more
next
of a
summer.
time constraint than a lot of other projects because we have a short window
Right.
to
Yeah.
construct in,
Right.
when school
So,
starts.
Yeah, that's why you want to have
We have to
everything
be ready.
in order to go. Very good.
So we have a real thick,
Yes.
if anybody wants
If
to.
anybody would like to,
look at
The RFP.
would like some nighttime reading, we have plenty of it.
Thicker than our 46-page federal
Yes.
regulations.
Just a little.
Yes.
I'd like to thank Jeff and his team
Yes.
for going through this. He's proven time and time again, going way back when Jerry was our leader in that regard, that they've been very good stewards of our district
Yes,
money.
they are.
So thanks, Jeff. Appreciate that.
Well, and I'm
And
happy that they're
Orst, I think
keeping,
Orst has been a big part of that as well, so.
I'm happy that they're keeping us up to date throughout the process, meeting often with the Building and Site Committee, instead of waiting until the last minute and throwing everything at us. So we've been an active
You've
part of
had
it.
input into it. Good.
Well, and not just input, but we also know what's going on, and I think that makes me, as a board member, feel better.
And I think another thing I wanted to add too is.
Well, why didn't you give the
I
report?
think, no, not on the report, but going back to what our analysis of our school capacities. I think that helped us
Yes.
Oh,
tremendously
it did.
in determining,
The
which
needs.
schools we need additions to, and so, this all works together for all those hours that we spent reviewing the schools. I think it was a good effort, and finally, I think Amy can agree on the actual capacity of our schools.
That's saying a lot.
13 years.
Well, and I think the support rooms,
Yeah.
the cafeterias, the gymnasiums and things like
Are very
that
taxed.
are very important. And I think you all that were on that committee got a very clear picture of where we were short and not, so that we can react accordingly. And it is a good
Well,
thing.
we're a very fortunate district because we're building and adding on when many school districts are closing schools. So we're unique
Just
in that
Some
regard.
food for thought on that. When I first was elected to the board, we were, I think, the 11th largest district in the state. And we're now, what, the third?
Third.
We're the third largest district in the state. And there's, two reasons for that. We've had growth for the last 25 years, where other districts have had decline. So that's serious movement to go from the 11th to the third. So it's a good problem to have.
And that's even with regard to having a mature housing stock. We really don't have huge
Yeah, it's not
subdivisions
because of
being
construction.
developed
Not
every day
additional
like some of the
construction.
outlying areas do. So
Yeah.
it's all been growth within an existing housing stock. So
Yeah.
it's a nice thing to
So
have.
it's a really good problem to have.
Yep.
Very good. And Policy Committee also met, but
We
we've
discussed
received that
everything.
report. I would just like to mention Wayne County Association of School Boards has a general membership meeting this Thursday night. I think you all got the information on that. The topic is survival techniques to regain or maintain fiscal health. And the speaker will be from MASB. I will be at the meeting. If anyone wants to join me, dinner will be at 6 and program starts at 6:30. I'll save you a seat.
What day is it?
Thursday.
This
This Thursday. No, I'm sorry. The 20, yeah.
Week from
The 24th is
Today's what,
next
the
Thursday.
14th.
Yeah, today's the 14th.
It's the 17th. It's this Thursday.
Oh, this Thursday. Okay.
Let me double check. Yes. Yes, I have an executive session at 5 and the general session starts at 6:30. It's this Thursday. Did I say the 24th? I did, didn't I? 17th, yes. Any other reports? Next item.
Board member commentary.
Trustee McDonald?
I just want to remind everyone that the business that we are in is not only educating our students, but we are also in the business of a service industry. So we need to remember to always provide good service, and that includes being helpful, being friendly. You can't always tell everyone what they want to hear, but you can be friendly about it, you can be helpful, and you can give, ulterior options that they can take on. So just a reminder that we are a service industry and we need to take customer service seriously.
Agreed?
Trustee Lane, did you raise your hand?
Yeah, I didn't know whether to put this under commentary or request for information, so I guess now is as good a time as any.
Go ahead.
So I'm reminded of Harry Truman, who saw a painting and quipped, "If that's art, I'm a Hottentot." But in fact, art, music, so many things now do have standards, and credentialing is a big area. So there are a lot of skills. Art, we know what we like, we know what we don't like, we know the same in music. And what's good for one person is horrendous for somebody else. But credentialing, there are standards in so many areas, and there's such a proliferation of skills that are valuable in our world. So I like us to take advantage of our students' skills whenever possible. Last year I brought up the bilingual endorsement. Being bilingual, bicultural is a tremendous asset to someone if they've studied abroad, if they can speak another language. It's a big plus on their resume. So I hope that we will pursue looking into. Last year,
Explain what you're talking about.
yeah, I brought up there is an endorsement that the state of California gives on their diplomas for students who can show that they're fluent in other languages. So I asked that we look into that. So I'd like to have a report on it, possibly. Whether we could do it, I don't know whether we can do it or
Yep.
not, but we have in our district languages, particularly Arabic, is in huge demand. A lot of our students are fluent listeners and speakers, but not writers. But whatever we can do, I mean, there are grants, and I just forwarded to Superintendent Whiston some scholarship opportunities for students. So Urdu, Korean, Turkish, there are other high demand languages. So whatever we can do to foster that, I'd like to do that. And it's just part also of making people able to move in and out of different worlds, I guess. We have a lot of refugees here who have advanced degrees, and there's just nothing more wasteful than to see a medical doctor or an engineer working at a pizza place when they could be doing something better. That's credentialing. So I would like us to pursue credentialing for our students and give our students that extra edge when we can. So I
we will
want
have
to
a
ask
report and
Superintendent
recommendations.
Whiston to pursue that. The group in California, it's Californians Together. So I'd like to have it investigated, if you
Yep.
would.
Thank you for reminding me.
Any other comments? Next item.
Requests for information and/or future agenda items.
Trustee Shells?
Trustee Lane made me think of something. When it's difficult when we're sitting here and we want to ask a question, especially about a reinstatement or an expulsion, because you don't know where the lines are drawn. And we had a lot of expulsions last year, especially towards the end of the year, which means that coming up, we're going to be having a lot of reinstatement hearings. Is it possible to get a summary
Yeah,
in
I
our
was
board
gonna
briefs,
ask
a
that.
confidential
Yeah.
summary?
After the
After the reinstatement, that way, that way at least we know what's going on with the student. I hate asking questions at the board meeting because
Nope,
it's incredibly
good.
awkward.
That's a valid point, yep.
But at least that gives us a chance
Right.
to ask a question, especially with a lot of the students. We put a lot of demands on them.
Conditions, yes.
You know, a lot of conditions prior to reinstatement, and we'd like to know also what their
they've met
requirements are that they need to maintain in order to stay in school. So
Yep.
just if we could get a summary, especially this year, it was just a rough year.
A lot of them.
Well, hey,
And
some
it's-
of them I can't even remember.
Right, and
at
that's,
this point
yeah,
with
if we
the-
could just get like a little summary
Summary
of
of
why,
what
you know,
we did
what,
and-
yeah, what the issue was
Yeah.
that caused the expulsion and what the
You can
conditions
put it
are
in board
upon.
briefs even, yeah,
return.
you know, just,
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
that way it can be confidential and we don't have to ask questions.
yeah,
Good point.
very good. I thought about that too. I have a question. Is the P-12 going to have lawn signs for the bond
They are
issue?
outside in the trunk of cars. If you want one, you can take a bunch tonight.
I see hands waving.
David,
Evidently, they have a
David
lot.
has them, and Jeff has them in their cars tonight, if you'd like to.
For the
take some home.
public, if
I
they
already
would like
grabbed mine.
lawn signs, how would they go about getting one?
Yeah, we don't want
We
to serve them
can't.
through here, but we can, you know, have some of them in the trunk of our cars. If they want some, just contact my
I'll
office.
be happy to
and
have a
we'll get 'em.
supply at my house if anyone
Right.
would like them.
Right.
That'd be fine. But I would like one.
Yep.
I'll get
We
one.
can- We can take care of that. We appreciate that.
Thank you. Any other requests? Next item.
Superintendent's reports, personal commentary.
Just again, on the same issue, reminding voters that there will be the $76 million bond question on the November 5th ballot, reminding the voters that their millage rate will not change if they vote yes. It's 5.35 mils, and if they vote yes to allow us to borrow, it'll continue at that 5.35 mils. So we hope the voters will consider that on November 5th. And of course, we have no school that day because that is Election Day.
Trustee Shells?
You know, at the K-12, we have the opportunity to speak to the community because we have our meetings videotaped. We also have the millage proposal coming forward for HFCC, and while I know we can't tell people how to vote, is it possible at the next meeting that we could allow Dr. Jensen a few minutes
Yep.
just to
If you'd
at
like
least
to come
have
up
the
right now,
podium?
you can come up right now, and we can
and
do it at
just
the next meeting as well.
Tell what it is, you know, let the voters know what the millage proposal
Absolutely,
is.
and we do
We
have
just
lawn
can't have them
signs.
say vote any certain way, but informational, absolutely.
There are lawn signs available for the college.
Yes, there are those lawn signs available, and basically it's asking voters to vote on 3 mills, total of 3 mills that are renewal. Those already are paying for those, and that is for 10 years, and then 1 additional mill, which is for only 5 years, and that will help us restore some funding that we've lost from the state. The last 11 years, we've lost funding from the state.
This is our operating millage.
Operating, that's a good difference too between what is certainly important for the K-12 district is a bond. This is operating money, so it is really an important thing. It goes to the bottom line of day-to-day action and day-to-day service for our students. And so that's what we're asking for, and certainly the economic impact that Henry Ford Community College has on our community is very significant. And Henry Ford Community College has actually has the smallest district as far as geographical area in the state, as far as a 28 community college, but we are the 5th largest as far as population, as far as students involved. And so the other thing is we do have the 2nd lowest tuition rate for in-district students, and this helps us maintain that service. So you combine a really great value as far as the college with low tuition and actually low cost for mill, and it's really a great investment for voters to take. So, and on our website, there's some more information as well.
I believe any citizens in the voting district over 60 years old can take classes for free also.
That's right. That's a great value. So if you're over
Sure,
60 or over, you can take free classes. Of course, we collaborate a great deal with K-12 on, and high schools actually, on dual credit. Over 1,100 students are involved in that. We appreciate that partnership. And that is also paid for, and there's no cost to the student. So you can gain a number of credits, of course, in high school, but also in our college, and up to two years of college. In fact, you can graduate actually the same month, basically, from high school as you do from our college with an associate's degree. So that's a terrific value. I suppose it would be then that just those between 18 and 60 that we ask for a little bit of tuition. But but it is still a great deal. But
I think there's benefits for a variety of
yes,
people
yeah.
by having our local community college.
Yeah.
Trustee Lane?
I was selling 50/50 raffle tickets at one of the football games, so I get a lot of opportunity then not so much to sell, but to hear people give me feedback. So one parent did say that they wanted to have the college point out to people, and I brought this up and was agreed. We need to stress you're going to pay for a community college.
Yes.
Whether you pay for Henry Ford Community College or not, you will pay. If you do not pay for Henry Ford Community College and the college would be dissolved, you would pay for another college, which would most likely be
Wayne,
right. So
yep.
It's a state law. Everyone in
it's
the
a state law. You are not going
contributes.
to get out of paying for a community college.
That's right, and you'll lose the local control
Right.
and those kind of things.
And that was my point. The residents have many benefits by supporting Henry Ford
Yes,
Community College.
exactly right. And we do partner with industry in a lot of areas as far as helping people get ready for new jobs. One of the latest ones is called MAT Squared, which is an apprentice program, which is was spoken of by our governor, in fact, just last week, as a great example of collaborative work. And of course, a lot of other things, all the way from pottery and ceramics to advanced math and sciences and so on. So we have great partnerships with other colleges too, so you can do a 2+2, which is 2 years with us, 2 years with a university, or we have about a half a dozen colleges. We have 3 years with us and 1 year with them to get a baccalaureate degree, so that's even a better deal. But we look forward to even more partnerships throughout the years ahead as far as K-12. And there are a lot of advantages to strengthening the community college here, Henry Ford Community College, and has to do with all the way from preparing students to be employees here. And I'm really, one of the great things about Henry Ford is as well is that about 45 to probably more like 50% of our college-bound graduates from our own high schools here in the Dearborn system come to our college. And then about, I think it's 95, if I remember, 95% of our students stay in Michigan and raise their families here, of course, pay taxes here, add to that Michigan base of employment. And of course, every time you have a more advanced degree, you typically make more money, and that helps your family and you as an individual, but also our communities. So we're glad to be a part of that. There's a lot of reasons for that. I don't want to necessarily take up a lot of time tonight, but we certainly would, and I appreciate very, very much the opportunity to have people aware of the November 5th vote, and certainly would like people to come out and make their vote. And we have 2 proposals on there, and the K-12 has one. And as you probably have already pointed out many times, you have to turn the ballot over.
Yeah, it's on the back. I
And so
understand,
make
yeah.
sure you don't quit early on this exam.
Yeah.
And turn it
Turn
over
the ballot
and
over.
vote on the back as well.
I think the P-12 is no new money.
Yes.
And the college, it's only the 1 mil that would be.
Yeah,
new
and that's
money.
about
$5.
$3.75 a month. So
Right.
we wish a gallon of gas
Or a cup of coffee.
basically per month. Yeah, a cup of coffee. So it's I know every dollar counts, but we think this is a really good investment. So.
I understand that, but I just want to stress to the public that we're not asking for a lot of new money.
No, it has great return. So.
And it has great return in benefit to the citizens.
Yeah, I might point out this board serves us as a college, and one thing to clarify, at no tax, no cost to the taxpayer, and you volunteer your time, which is a lot actually, and we appreciate that a great deal. And
We don't get a salary from the college.
Get paid nothing. So so we appreciate that, and it's again terrific dedication that you have to education in general, but certainly we thank you from the perspective of the college. So thanks.
It's our pleasure.
you.
And I believe as a board member, we can encourage people to vote for all those proposals on November 5th.
And I think there's a good chance if you were at Oakwood Hospital that one of the nurses that would be in attendance there is probably a Henry Ford graduate of our
Absolutely.
nursing school. I
Yes.
think there's a large percentage of the nurses that
Absolutely.
And at the
have gone through our
Henry Ford
program.
Emergency over in Fairlane.
That's a great point. We do graduate about 240 RN nurses every year, and it is highly likely that you're served by our nursing staff or nursing students, and lots of great stories there, as well as in other disciplines, other industries. And a lot of our students, of course, do transfer to other colleges and universities too. So.
Very good.
Thank you. Next item.
Did we do other?
Yep, no other future meeting dates.
Yeah, we were almost done and I had to open my mouth.
Oh, that's good.
That was a good thing.
That's a good idea, though. That was good.
I thought it was a worthy.
Future meeting dates, Monday, October 21st, 2013, HFCC meeting at 7 p.m. at the Andrew Mazzara Services and Conference Center in the Rosenau Boardroom at Henry Ford Community College. Monday, October 28th, 2013, a P-12 executive session, closed negotiations at 6 p.m. at the Administrative Service Center in the Superintendent's Conference Room. Last page. Monday, October 28th, 2013, P-12 Board of Education meeting at 7 p.m. at the Administrative Service Center in the Frank Franchi Boardroom. Monday, November 11th, 2013, P-12 Board of Education meeting at 7 p.m. at the Administrative Service Center in the Frank Franchi Boardroom. And Monday, November 18th, 2013, HFCC meeting at 7 p.m. at the Andrew Mazzara Services and Conference Center in the Rosenau Boardroom at Henry Ford Community College.
Thank you. We are adjourned.